Well, that's a good win. That is a really good win for our team. You know, every win is a good win, but some a little more special than others. And in this situation, when it wasn't a race up and down the floor kind of game, it was a slugfest. And our guys were able to figure out a way to win a different way. And I think that's not only good for us right now, but it'll be good for us down the road. Because I'm really proud of our guys. I think our guys just hung in there and made just enough plays to win the game. We battled on the boards, we battled, for loose balls, and I think that was the difference in the game. We got a couple more rebounds than they did, and we ended up winning. So I'll take any questions from them.
Coach, talk about kind of the end of the game and the decision not to foul.
Well, we talked about it. We had two different timeouts to talk about it, and what we wanted to do was see if we could put enough pressure on them and not worry about fouling intentionally, but if we could put enough pressure on them, then maybe they would dribble past us, because that's what they're really good at, is their penetration, and they cause problems. And so we kind of trapped that inbounds and thought maybe that they would get inside that 2-point line, and then we weren't going to help. We were just going to stay on the shooters. And I think we kind of forced them into a pretty difficult shot. But looking back at it, I just watched the replay, that it's one of those things where you always, because it could have gone in. I mean, he was falling away, he was out of bounds, but the ball still got pretty close. So it's kind of a feel. I don't really have a hard, fast rule on what if we foul with a 3-point lead. Kind of a feel how things are going. And tonight we wanted to see if maybe we could get them to penetrate inside that line.
Coach, can you talk about your defensive adjustments you guys made in the second half?
Our zone was really good to us in the second half. I think that they did a great job of spacing this floor and spreading us out and then driving us. And when our help came, they would kick it, and it was late in the shot clock, and those are kind of backbreaker threes that they would hit, because you got such a good possession going, and guys are playing hard, and they get a drive, and we give help, and then they kick that and hit threes. And so what we wanted to do was try to stop the penetration, and I think that's what the zone did a little bit. And it forced them into doing some other things that they figured out how to make big shots. They were really good at the free throw line, but in the end we made one more play than they did, so that was good.
Teams are going to try to manhandle Ty. It looks like it. That kind of going. Was that expected, and do you think that's going to be the way it is going forward?
It's probably Notre Dame did a really good job with him, and Ty handled it a little bit better than they did tonight. But these guys were really physical with him. Iowa State kind of did the same thing, but I think that this was a really good night for Ty to figure out how he's going to get played and how he can still be really effective, because he was a big part of us winning this thing.
Could you sense Matt was due for some kind of night tonight?
Well, we know that Matt's a really good shooter, and he hasn't shot the ball really, like he likes to this season, and I just believe that things will all work out. But the 5 he hit tonight were all needed, every one.
Dave, you said before the game that Utah was an improved team. What do you think of them now?
Well, I told Larry after the game, I'm really impressed with this team. I'm cheering for him. I think he's got a great group of guys. They're tough. They play together. I think that they are watching film. I've seen all the games now, and they're playing for one reason. That's to win. And I think that he's going to really enjoy coaching this team, because they're tough. He's got size, good shooters, really good quickness, and defensively they got a really good scheme.
Can you talk about the atmosphere of this particular game, maybe in comparison to some of the other BYU Utah games recently when they were a little bit down and kind of building?
Well, I can tell you this: when we're behind in this building, our crowd is really loud, and then when we get when we get the lead, then they kind of move it to another level. And the energy that we played with in the second half, there's no question that it comes from you get a lot of these guys that are really competitive, and it comes from within. But the fans' energy that's created gives you just a little bit more. And our guys ran through a lot of balls. We got our hands on a lot of, rebounds, and all those things. Kind of, I think, is just a little bit extra effort that the energy in the building helps create.
You had the unexpected week off. Was that tough to sit on that Iowa State game a few extra days? And in what ways were you able to turn that into a positive?
It was tough. I mean, it was a tough week, and you don't ever want to think that you've expended energy for no reason. But we prepared pretty hard for the 2 days, and then we ended up not using that preparation, and so. We gave them the day off on Wednesday to try to maybe combat that just a little bit, and I think actually it probably helped us, because the energy that we played with the last 10 minutes was absolutely necessary for us to pull this out and win the game. And our guys were good. Our energy level the last 10 minutes was great.
Anything else?
Dave, real quick, can you talk about getting that game with Utah State, getting that game back, and how the date came about?
Sue and I talked about a lot of different things, and it was mutually agreed upon by both of us. I think both of us would rather have played on a different date, but this one worked out the best, and I'm glad that I wish it was a little bit earlier, and so does Stu. Stu wished that we could have done it in maybe December or January, but looking forward to a late game. A late season game with Utah State. Last year we played them the first game of the season, which was the earliest we ever played them, and I think this year we'll play them the latest we ever played them. So next year we'll play somewhere in the middle. All right.